do you have like maybe like, I don't want to say a dark horse, but maybe someone that could be like a cheap option that you like, that you think could be a good fit for that role on the Kings?
Yeah, I think, and you mentioned him in your article. I like Eubanks. I feel like you get him cheap and kind of just film that role, like you said, like 14 minutes a night. Um, I mean, he was playing a little more in Portland the last couple of years, but in his San Antonio days, he wasn't playing as much, and I feel like he filled the role well. He can rebound decently, and I feel like he like knows his place within the offense, or like with on the team, and can just fill in some, just fill in those 14 minutes or so without Domas on the floor and not let it fall apart too bad. So he's like kind of like my cheaper option, but like also like a steady presence.
I do agree that Eubanks is a really good option. And having played in Portland, he played in San Antonio under Popovich. I could see him just sticking to the West Coast and sign him with Sac and have a good role. And I think, like you said, I mean, he knows his role, and part of his role is setting up other guys. I think one of the things that you'll read a lot when you look up like Eubanks' season in review or whatever, you'll hear a lot about how late in the season, when Shaedon Sharpe was getting more opportunities and whatnot, and the younger guys and lesser known players were out there, Eubanks was there kind of helping guys get looks and opening things up for people. I think he's a good screen setter. He's got good energy to him, and he hits a lot of his shots near the rim. He converts stuff and can throw down dunks and also come up with blocks on the defensive end. So I think that dunk and block combination on both ends, like, that really feeds into the energy thing. I think there's just so many things to like about Eubanks. Obviously he's not going to overwhelm you, but I think another thing that's important is that when he got traded to Portland, he started every game after, like, to finish out that season for the Trailblazers. And he was really adequate. People were very surprised by how he played in that starting role. And obviously you don't plan for this. Domas showed a lot of durability this season and a lot of toughness, probably more so toughness. But if he needed to miss a few games, I feel like you'd feel pretty okay with Eubanks going out there and starting. So in a lot of ways,
That's true.
like in talking about Reed, I mean, Reed checks so many boxes. He checks all those boxes too, essentially. And he'd be like premier. But Eubanks is he's ideal, like in the sense that he'd be cheaper. And it's just what you need. Obviously, it's not as good as Naz Reid, but in a lot of ways, it's a similar kind of impact, and it's dynamic in the ways he can affect the game.
Yeah.
I think
Eubanks should be. I feel like he's like who I want the Kings to get cost wise and what he'll be able to do off the bench for the team.
Yeah. Drew Eubanks. He also looks like a leprechaun.
Where's he from?
He's American, like Ohio or something.
Really?
Yeah.
There's some guys that just like look Eastern European. I remember when I found out that
it's his hairstyle.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, I was amazed when you told me Frank Kaminsky was just American. Really?
Yeah.
He looks European. I'm surprised Eubanks is. I thought he was a foreign guy, honestly.
Eubanks. Yeah.
So, it must be his haircut, yeah. Look at it.
I think it's the hair. And then kind of the springy frame, the springy thin frame. Kind of.
Yeah.
But,
it's funny. I don't know. You just whatever.
It is interesting. Sometimes you just kind of like assume things about players and you just never really bother to look it up, because typically you're thinking it as you're watching a game. Like, you're not thinking of looking it up. You're just kind of there, and it'll establish things in your head. It'll just be totally wrong.
Yeah, right. I think the last name too, Eubanks.
I mean, I think that's like English or Scottish or something.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard that name. Well, Drew.
You're learning a lot.
Dude, I had no idea. Drew Eubanks. This is the Drew Eubanks episode.
Yeah.